Hey y'all, this is just a little different type of video. This is just me documenting what I'm doing right now, a year and a half into riding, on kind of deciding, okay, I want to get better at riding dirt bikes. It's used to be just kind of a hobby, just kind of ride once every couple months, maybe ride in the backyard, and now I'm kind of riding every weekend and I want to get better at riding. So this is just kind of what I'm doing. Going to go through what my bike maintenance is, how I decide on what bike to get, boots, gear, and stuff like that, what my goals were riding, what I learned is important, what I thought was important, and just kind of my whole mentality behind this whole thing. I'm really just documenting this for my future self and for y'all. If y'all are getting into riding, you can kind of maybe take my advice, or if anyone has suggestions for me and anyone else in this video, be like, hey Dane, you're going down this path, maybe you should think of it this way, or maybe your bike maintenance, you should be doing this differently. Whatever it is, I want to hear it. I'm open to try new things, and we'll just get right into it. Kind of my goal was about a year and a half ago, I decided I wanted to get better at riding. Like, I like riding dirt bikes, and I also like getting better at things. So I kind of wanted to build a path or research, how do I get better at riding? I know seat time and all that, but what's like the process? I want to be the best rider, best version of myself when I'm 30. Like, I don't necessarily want to be the best rider right now. It's a gradual increase in speed. Really just looking for little baby wins. I'm not trying to win a bunch of races. I just want to be considered like a confident and smooth rider. I want to be safe and kind of in control at all times. For me, the best bike that I wanted to buy was, I learned comfortability over everything. I mean, I'm not very fast, and a 65 rider could smoke me. So it's not the bike size. I don't need to get a 450 or mod the 250 that I have right now. My bike is plenty fast. I need to be better at riding the 250. So I was like, okay, what bike's best for me? And I was riding a KTM 252 stroke, and I was terrified of that thing. I didn't feel comfortable on it at all. Got on a Honda 250, and immediately I was faster because I just felt more safe in it. Also, rode a Kawasaki, I just don't like the ergonomics, and it's just a personal preference. So for me, every time I tell someone, it's like, just go ride a bunch of different bikes. They all have benefits, but just whichever one you feel best on, get that one. They're all fast. It doesn't matter. Just get whichever one you like and then kind of stick with it. Also, I've gotten every single used bike. I buy used bikes. Every bike for $5,000. $5,000. I'll get a bike with 10 hours on it, and I ride it, and then I sell it for $5,000. And I buy the next one for $5,000. So you can get a pretty good bike for $5,000. You don't have to spend a bunch of money on it. Also with boots, I used to have the Alpine Star, like Tech 7s, I think. I've worn the Tech 10s, and I don't like them. I don't feel comfortable in them. I wore the Fox Instinct boots, and I feel the bike more, and I feel me squeezing the bike more with my legs, and I can feel the pegs, and that's kind of what I'm working on. So I was like, oh, let me just go with this one. All right, what was the best starter skill that I learned in the very beginning? Before, I could upload a video. January 2023, I tried to do a sprint lap, and I couldn't finish a lap. The lap time around that track was in Texas, and it was like 1:10. I could not sprint for 1:10 seconds. So that was what my stamina was. And I was like, okay, I gotta fix this thing. And so we found MOTO Academy. If you're interested and you like getting, skills detailed out, I recommend it. It's totally worth it. It was the stand-up drill, one hand, no clutch, and just working on the eye speed. Those 4 things. In the beginning, I didn't jump a jump for 2 months. I only did turn tracks, and I only did one-hand drills and stand-up laps. That was it. Doing that kind of helped me build a base to riding, to where I wasn't scared of entering a turn. It was like, okay, I'm okay on turning. I'm okay on balance. I can look ahead, and there's just kind of things where whenever I go out and ride, I'm focusing on maybe my shifting, or like just 1 or 2 things, not, oh man, I got to shift my hips back, or I got to get over the front more, or whatever it is. I just kind of eliminate those kind of variables, and so I can only focus on one thing, part of it. But those 4, stand up, one hand, no clutch, turn tracks, that was the biggest help for me. It wasn't going on the main track. It was just finding a kid's track or something else. And it was to slow things down, take the speed out of it, and just work on the body position. If y'all have watched this channel, I don't have the best cardio, but a little hack is 30-minute GoPro videos. You can find them on YouTube and on a stationary bike. You just kind of set your phone up, put your headphones in, and you just watch a moto. Like POV, you're watching, I don't know, it could be like a James Stewart video or whatever it is. I mean, I used to think that riding dirt bikes, my heart rate's at 160, 170, so I would train at 160, 170, trying to improve the cardio. I was told that's not the right way to do it, so it was a zone 2, zone 3 type of heart rate training. And so just cycle, kind of find the gear and the RPM. I find a gear that I can go 90 RPMs at, watch a dirt bike race is 30 minutes, and that's perfect. You just kind of get lost in it. And then another one was foundational training. There's a 12-minute video on YouTube. It was like from 9 years ago. AJ from MOTO Academy talks about it. It helps me a lot. I fail during the 12 minutes every single time. I found out about it a couple months ago, and I would do it every single day. Now I only do it 3-4 times. I should be better at it, but it helped with my lower back. So with the body position, I learned that I should squeeze the bike. I didn't know that in the beginning. So now I'm squeezing the bike, and what gives out first when I ride is my lower back. And so my lower back would be tight. Did the foundational training, lower back pain goes away. So now whenever I get tired, it's usually on eye speed, or like my brain gets tired on focusing for that long. And then the last thing, it was more of just a personal preference, was my mindset on the track. Before, it was, let's see how fast I can go for 3 laps. Now this is just a training thing. Like, I'm just going to practice doing turns during a moto. And it kind of helped. So like my lap speed kind of decreased, but I'm getting more laps in during the day. All right, and my current bike maintenance, I change the oil every 4 hours. Oil filter every 8 hours about. Sometimes it's like 7 or 9. Just depends on how it adds up. The air filter is more of when I notice it's dirty. Some tracks are more dusty than others, so you got to change it more often. Maybe like 5 hours, or every time I do an oil filter change. It just kind of fluctuates. I service the forks. I change the oil and seals at 40 hours. I have my sag at 103. And I moved my handlebars. I'm 6 feet tall, so I moved my handlebars forward on my bar mounts. I ride a 2021 Honda CRF 250. There's kind of like a back mount and a forward mount. Mine's now on the forward mount, and I feel better on it. What is something that is important to me now at riding? 1, suspension settings. I'm slowly starting to build kind of like a list of tracks, suspension settings that I run at, to where whenever I go to Paradise or Masters or Alma, it's like, okay, this is the suspension settings that I felt were best for me. That's kind of perfect. I just want to keep on building that. I'm only touching the forks. I have not, I don't know, maybe got confident enough to change the rear, like the low speed and high speed compression and dampening. I don't know that, and something in the future I really want to learn about that rear side. Next thing was see the track differently. I suggest everyone gets a GoPro and watches them ride. Like, I'll rewatch myself ride. It's like, man, this is a better line, or this is a better line. This kind of helps me build track IQ. And I kind of want to, the fast guys, they take different lines than me, and I'm like, how do they see the track differently than I do? And so I'm just kind of building that database of, okay, when I got this kind of turn, this is actually the fastest line. It's not the outside line or the inside. It's like this weird kind of cut in the middle type thing. So that's something that I want to build. And also what's important to me is I used to be somebody that loved to chase people. Like, I loved to race. I would race my brother all the time. It's no longer important to me. I just want to log laps. That's the biggest thing. And so I kind of just ride at my own pace. I'm getting better at knowing my pace. I get better at being like, okay, this is like 80% speed versus 100% trying to pass someone all the time. That's just what helps me. And then a goal, hopefully Future Dane knows this and has accomplished it, 30-minute moto. I want to do a 30-minute moto so bad. And also I want to be able to learn any track within 3 laps. Like, any track. I can see it, roll stuff, set up some jumps, and then jump all of them. and I'm all good. I want somebody to look at me at the track and be like, that's a smooth rider. I don't necessarily care if I'm fast or scrubbing or doing anything along those lines. I just want to be a smooth one. Someone who looks at me and be like, wow, he's just kind of logging laps. He's being smooth. He sees the track differently. He's always in control, always in the right gear. That's end goal. So hopefully a year from now, I'm a little closer to that goal, but we'll see. And that kind of wraps up all this. If y'all like it, great. If, again, like I said in the beginning, if you have any suggestions on what I said, or if you think maybe you could help me out, I'd love to hear them. And hopefully next week's video is a ride day at a different track. So I'll catch y'all next week and hope y'all enjoy.